Yo, 95% Rookie here. I'm going to be breaking out of my usual Arma focus to take a quick second to talk about my initial impressions for S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. I'll basically just give some quick thoughts on my experience, then roll some footage of the game I've captured from the start. Once I'm done talking, I'm probably just going to roll some footage, so yeah, just shut it off if I basically give an outro, if you don't want to see or hear anything else from the game. So, first off, the game is running pretty well for me on an RTX 4060 card. This is a lower end but newer RTX card, so if you have an older system, I've heard performance can be much worse. I've heard the game is very buggy, but personally I haven't really encountered that as of yet. Keep in mind I'm only like 6 hours in. I'll probably make a video later on, like after I have more time with it. But I wanted to get initial thoughts into a video just to give people what I'm thinking, just, you know, because I feel like it. World itself, from the monsters to humans, environments and stuff, weather, all show a lot of care and love put into them. I really do think the devs put their all into this game, and I'm glad because I was honestly afraid at first this would just be a broken mess, but definitely does need to be some more time put into polish from what I hear. Like later on in the game, I'm sure there's bugs, but also I'm sure just other people with lower end systems can't run it too well, so definitely needs some more polish. But right now, I think it's completely playable if you have the kind of system I have, at least. I'm also playing it on Game Pass because I only planned on buying it if it was like pretty good, and I probably will buy it at some point, but for now I'm just gonna keep it on Game Pass and add it to my library on Steam like later on, probably maybe with a sale or if it's patched a bit more. But for now, I'm happy playing it on Game Pass, so I'd recommend that. For specific gameplay things, I disabled the UI for quest updates and the compass. So the quest update is basically like when you complete a quest or whatever, it'll like have a thing that pops up like, oh, like you've done this, now you have to go over do this. So it's a big like UI thing on your screen. The compass is like, it's kind of like Fallout style. Like if you're near a location, it'll have like a thing on the compass that's like glowing and you can walk towards it and like discover it or whatever. I prefer to have those turned off just because it's really like, feels like it kind of kills immersion. So having those turned off though, it feels pretty good. Like you have to open your map to check your where you are, and you open your PDA and stuff. So it feels pretty immersive with those two things turned off. I'd recommend turning them off. If you feel like, you know, being a little more handheld, I'm sure it's fine, but personally, that's not what I enjoy in S.T.A.L.K.E.R. After a few hours, I switched my game's dialogue from English to Ukrainian, and I'm liking it a lot more like that. The English voice acting is all alright. My biggest gripe is not enough characters have like an accent, like a Ukrainian accent, or like a fake accent even. Like, I'm not sure how it was in the original Stalkers. I know there was some English dialogue. I think it was probably originally Ukrainian voice actors, I think, but now there's like, in this, I'm assuming just for various reasons that like it seems like a lot of like British and Western voice actors, like a lot of British people, honestly. I wonder if that's just where they got most of their voice actors from. A lot of the voice acting in the English dialogue seems to have like British or Irish accents. I've heard a few. Personally, I would have preferred like a more authentic like Ukrainian sound. That's like kind of my biggest gripe with the English dialogue. So if you're fine with a little bit of that, like British accents and like other accents that maybe don't sound too Ukrainian. I'm sure there are a few Ukrainian voice actors speaking English in it, but I'd recommend switching to Ukrainian. It also gives you that, like when you're listening to dialogue in a foreign language that you don't understand, it inherently, you can't pick apart like bad voice acting as much. So I feel like the English voice acting isn't terrible, but at times it can feel pretty hokey just because you understand the language, right? Weapon models, animations, overall that's all pretty good. The weapons have a decent amount of punch. Play on the hardest difficulty. Combat definitely has a lot of challenge in it. Overall, I'm pretty positive on the game, as you can kind of hear. I haven't run into too many issues I've had. There are a few things maybe nagging me, like the stuff I mentioned before with the UI and the voice acting. But overall, like apart from that stuff, I mean, I haven't run into too much to complain about. World is just very big, and I'm sure there's lots to explore in this game as far as quests go and stuff, so I'm pretty happy with it overall. Obviously, this is like a very early look at the game. I just felt like making it before I could play more. But yeah, if you're interested in hearing what I say, that's it. Yeah, I recommend at least, like, if you don't know you're gonna run it very well and you're hesitant, like either get it on Steam so you can refund it, you know, after you see how it runs or whatever, or I would highly recommend just getting it on Game Pass and just playing it there. You do have the downside, I'm not sure how like saves are transferred over from, if you play it on Game Pass then you want to play it on Steam. I assume there's a way to get your saves over, like it might even just be in the documents folder, so it might just automatically do that. But yeah, if you're not worried about that, I'd just say try it out on Game Pass, and then you know, you don't buy it full price until maybe it's a bit more patched. Yeah, if you want a more comprehensive review, either wait for me to put one out if I do decide to put one out. I might not. We'll see. Or just check someone else's video. But this is just my, as an Arma player, my initial thoughts. Well, I say I'm an Arma player, but you know, you know the kind of games I like. I like Arma 3, so this is kind of what I feel like as far as the game goes. So if you're into my personal taste, that's how it goes. Probably just gonna roll some footage here. So if you don't want to see anything else from the game, I'm going to be having footage in the background of this, obviously, but if you don't want to see any other footage of the game or whatever, just turn it off. If you want to see some basic gameplay without any talking over it, then stick around. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Expect some more Arma content soon, I promise, but this is just like a little change of pace, so yeah.
Ну, хоть разумеется. Чого сумуємо, непруху висиджуємо? От послухайте краще. Сталкер вихваляється біля багаття. Корисно все ж бувати на свіжому повітрі. Вийшов тут під дощик. І більше ні на бритви не витрачаюся, ні на перукарів. А другий йому такий: ти місцевою водичкою рота прополощи, на стоматологах заощадиш.
Та не смішно.